Lois sent me the gigantic file. She sent me her good old data viz, and it is 408 megabytes. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to share my screen again here. Here is her gigantic file. Okay, a couple things you can do. If you open up this file in Acrobat, and let's say it's not 408 megabytes, let's just say. In Acrobat, you can click on Action Wizard right here. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple ways to compress your files. So Action Wizard, you have the option to make accessible. This is important, just so you know. It does this. It can do this automatically, which is always helpful. Optimize for web is there. I'm going to say this is okay. So I clicked it. You click Start. It looks like nothing's happening. It will do that for a bit, but it is doing something because it says stop if you want to stop it. There we go. It's almost done. It would be nice if it had a progress bar, right? So there we go. Oh, there it is, analyzing page 4. So I guess it's just made it to page 4. Now it's going to page, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go to my desktop. Actually, let's go to, sure, student work. Why not? I have a folder. And we're going to call this 1. So this is, actually, let's call this Acrobat. We're doing some tests here to see what will make it the smallest. So Acrobat PDF, save. Okay, now it's done. So I will close that. So there's 403. Acrobat did 406. Oh, it made it worse. Fantastic. Okay, so that didn't work. We're going to drag it into, last time I did this, it took off like maybe 20 megabytes. It was terrible. It really wasn't that great. Yeah, like that, I don't know. Let's drag it into Illustrator. Remember how much I love Illustrator? This is one of the reasons. And this is how I compress really big files. Yes, you can open up big files. Oh, it's opening it up as, because she did it here. Okay, cool. So she allowed me to, she didn't make it so I couldn't open it up in Illustrator. Okay, so let me just show you something. If it was a pure PDF and it was kind of flattened, let's say. Okay, so here's one of the things. So basically you can see this is the Illustrator file. And that's because when she went to File, Save As, PDF, say no Illustrator, here's what happened. She just clicked Save, and she left this checked. Preserve Illustrator editing capabilities. This can also add to your file size. I'm going to uncheck it. I'm also going to choose Optimize for fast web view. I'm going to go to compression, and this is where you can really compress stuff here. So do not downsample. Yeah, we're going to downsample. Hold on here for a sec. Let me just save the PDF. So this is no Illustrator. This is how we save it. If there's no Illustrator functionality left, let's check the size. So it's still pretty big. It's taken a bit of time here, and then we'll do it with the compression. So whether it's an Illustrator or not, you can still work with that compression bit when we're exporting. Also, this is 25.17%. This is like, it's a huge file, Lois. I'm going to close this. Let's look at this. 403. Acrobat, there's the Illustrator. Look at that. I took away the ability to alter it in Illustrator, and it cut it in half right there, just by unchecking that one little tick box. Okay, so let's say that somebody has done that. Original Acrobat, you can try it. Might work, might not. For the compressed version, no Illustrator editing capabilities. If I drag this into Illustrator, this is what happens. This is what you're going to get. So if somebody takes that away, it's going to say, do you want to open a range? So you can open maybe like certain pages, and that's it. I want to open all of them. And you can say import PDF pages as links for optimal performance. No, I don't want to import the pages as links. I'm going to just drop it all in my Illustrator, and I'm going to click OK. It's reading the pages and it's importing everything. So there we go. Each of these is on its own artboard. If I choose artboard, you can see it's put each image or page on its own artboard, which is great. So whenever we export a PDF from Illustrator, whatever's on the artboard will be a PDF page. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. File, Save As, and we're going to call this is still Lois's data viz, but this one will be Illustrator Rest. I'm going to save it as a PDF, all of the pages, and click Save. And then I'm going to get that PDF window popping up. I want to optimize for fast web view. I don't really care about these other things. I'll leave them. But compression, this is the magic spot here. I'm going to choose average downsampling 2. And what that means is, so anything that is above 225 pixels per inch, it's going to sample it down to half the size, 150 pixels per inch. So if you're viewing something like this online, this is great. You can even change that number to something smaller if you want. I like using the JPEG compression personally. You can just bring it down to medium or low. I've tried low before and you still get a pretty decent result, to be honest. If it detects anything that's grayscale, it doesn't look like there's any grayscale, but if Illustrator thinks that there's anything that's grayscale, I'm going to do the same thing just in case. And that's it. That's where the magic is. So check this out. I'm going to save PDF. It's going to export it and we will check the size because it's now downsampled all of those images. There's the Acrobat worst one ever. There is the no Illustrator, so cut it the size in half. There's the original. There's the Illustrator compressed, 5.7 megabytes. Whoa. Yep, you downsample those images. I'm going to open it now. Let's open it. Tell me if you think the quality is any worse or better. Down the size even more. So when I open it in Acrobat, it has compressed the images, but I think it brings back some of the original image size because this is why it's kind of lagging still, because it is still a big file, but we added a lot of compression. Just to test that theory, I'm just going to go to File, Save As. I just want to see Illustrator compression 2. Let's see, save out from Acrobat. I'm going to see if number 2 is actually 5 megabytes. It even compressed it more. Look at that. Yeah, so that's how you get something that's gigantic into something small. How about I use reduce file size option when I do save as PDF, which is better. Okay, so let's open it up in Acrobat. Let's try that now. File, save as. Okay, let's try that. File, save as. Oh, there. Reduce file size. Okay, let's try it. Computer is just, fan is like, reduce file size in student work. Reduce brings it down to 211. Hey, nice. I overlooked that one. Thanks, Wing. Another great tip. Now let's open it up in PDF. And Rena says that makes her images pixelated. Okay, so let's see. Let's do the test. We open it up again. And to test, you always have to close the document. That's why I keep closing it and then reopen it because sometimes it'll just take the information from the last one. Okay, so here we are. We bring it back in. It's half the size, which is pretty awesome. Looks okay. And Rena, how come it's pixelating? I don't see pixelations. Maybe the 14-day raw data doesn't look as beautiful as it could as I skim through. No, it looks okay. I think it's because it was greater in Illustrator. That's why. Created in Illustrator. Yeah, but so was this. And this had the Illustrator capabilities. Okay, let's try one more. Hold on, I got one more test here. So that one, the original, retains the Illustrator capabilities. Let's do this one. This one is when you select, this would be the raw PDF with no Illustrator. Okay, let me open it up in here, and then I'm going to File, Save As. So this is no Illustrator, reduce file size through Acrobat. Okay, so this one is no Illustrator. Trying to change the name. It's like, look at all the different things you kind of have to know or try or test to see if it's going to work. Like really, you got to test it to see. Okay, so this is no Illustrator plus Acrobat. Save, and we clicked on reduce file size. Don't know if we could keep shrinking the size when we repeat the reduce file size stuff. I know I was thinking that too. And I did try that actually with one of my own files and it did not make a difference. But that's when I was using this one, the Action Wizard. So maybe. All right, so no Illustrator Acrobat. So that's 203. This one. Whoa, look at that. 7.4. There's how you do it. You could try that then. And Rena, if you created it in Illustrator, you export it from Illustrator, you uncheck Preserve Illustrator Editing Capabilities. You bring it into Acrobat. You save it out from Acrobat by clicking on Reduce File Size, and that's another way to get compression. What a huge difference. Hold on, wait, the final test. Let's open it up and see if the images are pixelated. This is 100%, and they're not. Hey, look at that. I'm going to save it out one more time with the Reduce File Size just to see if it compresses it more. And this all looks a-okay. Your background's lowest. There's a lot of information with your blends and your gradients and your textures. And pixelation? What do we think? No, look at that beautiful, clean, beautiful Illustrator line. Wow. Okay, let's go File. Let's go Save As. I'm going to save this as, okay, again, reduce file size. I'm going to do the desktop here. Okay, so this is the Illustrator Acrobat test, reducing the file size for the second time. Save. Nope. See, doesn't do it. It only does it once. Still 7.4. So there you go, folks. That is how to compress gigantic files. Yeah, it's good to experiment, definitely. 7 tests, guys. 7 tests. Honestly, though, whenever I am trying to compress a file, I always bring it into Illustrator and then just export it and bring down the, I do the compression thing. And that's how you get it from 400 to 4. But if you prefer to use Acrobat, just export it, just get rid of those Illustrator editing capabilities.